Hello again, it's Roslynn Eve, and today we are looking at how much space does an eye need? Okay, I know, an unusual thing to be bringing up, but this is the eye, and looking at the eye by itself here, people have asked, well, where do you get your inspiration from? Well, normally I just come up with it on my own, but in this rare instance, I actually got the inspiration from Googling art images. See up here, art images. And amongst all the art images that come up, when you click on art images, it shows this one. And this is some of their stuff too. And the person's name is Gabrielle Crepezi. So you'll recognize it right away when you Google art images. Okay, so you can see there's like almost a completely different eye here. Like I said, it was just inspiration because there's not the same space. There's mine is much more contrast with the light to dark and so on. So like it is, a lot different, but it is the inspiration. Okay, so I just thought you might find that interesting. Okay, so why the eye? Well, first of all, because it was so busy, and it is a very busy image, for the amount of space there, look at all the busy there is compared to a little plain area, like these little tiny, it's really quite a busy image. And also notice that it's light, and medium. So it is mostly a light image, so you're drawn to the dark. So I went, okay, yeah, me, light and dark. And so adding the dark space around it is also adding non-busy space, which also highlights the busyness of the image. And it also highlights the dark area. So we are drawn to the dark area. Also because it's so medium and light, with light and light, medium, you're looking at the dark as being the least amount of the range from light to dark. So you're going to notice the dark the most because of the quantity of light in it compared to dark. When it's the smaller portion, then dark is what you're going to want to look at. When it's the littlest is the lightest portion, vice versa. But it also, that shifts as soon as you put it onto a background. Now, the reason I put it on this one was just to show you how funny that it looks, because this is contradictory, the background. This space is oblong in a horizontal direction, and this is in a vertical. The outside box is in a vertical direction, so it's the least complementary for the amount of space and everything. So that's really the only reason I put it there. Plus, it was kind of Plus, this was kind of neat too. Looking at the proportion of space, I just wanted to show you that it's really a fifth. Because if you take this part, you go 7 inches, and you go to the next 7 inches, that's 2 eyes. And you go to the next, it's 3 eyes, and a little tiny bit on the bottom. Okay. So basically, and then on the side, how much space is there? And remember, it's not going to be a full amount because this is taking up more than half the space here. There's another eye and another eye, and then there's some left. So that would be 5 eyes, and that amount of space would easily get taken up. So it's about a fifth. This eye is about a fifth of the space, was what I was trying to put across. And that looks like a lot of space for the amount of eye, but it's also partly the position that it's in too, because if you put it here, it's kind of boring. If you put it down low, it just doesn't look right. You see, up high, at least it has more drama that way. Okay, so we're going to move this one down, and we're going to show you this, which I said added some extra dark space. Okay, so we'll move that one over there, and let us bring up this one. Okay. Now you're going to say, oh, Roz, you know, that looks like there's a huge eye compared to the amount of space behind it. Okay, well, let's go like this. Are you more comfortable now with the amount of space there? Probably. And how about this? Is that okay or not okay? And what about the smallest one there? That's actually you're starting to notice the space too much, and it's starting to look boring, right? And let's look at the color, how it's affecting the space and how much space the eye needs. So we'll just stick with this eye for the time being. And notice that because this is mostly light and only a little bit of dark, that you're wanting to look at the dark area. But look what happens when you go like this. Now it's going more, I know you think because it's vivid red, but look, see, it is darker, eh? Okay. It does start to get down in the medium range. So now you're starting to notice the white more, whereas before we were noticing the dark, right? Because most of the space is light, you want to notice the dark. And then as soon as you start putting in medium, which this is, now you're starting to want to notice both the light and the dark. Okay, so let's get rid of that. And now we don't have busy out here. So now we're really noticing how busy this is and how boring this is tending to look. So then it makes you want to use up some of that space because there's no busyness out here. And did you find this too busy? Maybe if the tiles were bigger, it might seem less busy. I don't know. But let's experiment and we'll go another way. Now we've got the darker background. Now you're really noticing the medium and light parts, right? And sure, you're still noticing the black to some extent, but you're mostly looking at the white because there's such a large volume of it right here. Okay. And then look at this. Now we're in the medium range again, so now you're starting to notice both again. And when we look at the dark plain space, now the color is so neutral that you're not really paying attention that the dark is enhancing the light. But it is. So we're going to look at this one next. Now here's where I move the eye over. Let's put it over right about on the third line cross point. Yes, we've talked about this in other videos. Okay. And yes, all ingredients blend together. So, you know, when we talk about all the other videos, it's going to touch on space here and there too. Same as color is touching in this one, right? Okay, so the darker we make this, the less visible that this is, right? So we'll just quickly show you that. See, that's a little lighter again. See, that one's darker. See, that one's dark, but because it's such a fluorescent color, you're seeing it a little bit more. So I'm showing you the differences and why, and then that's it. Okay, so that's why we bring up the next one here. And where did it go? This one. Now this one I added some more color and variety of color and size. Because this is so big compared to all of these, it overwhelms the image, space allotted to it. So then you've got to have something that's larger to compete. So we've got area 1 as the prime area of interest, and this by size and color is the next secondary main area of interest, and this is the third one. These are all minor ones that we tend to look at more as detail. Okay, so gives you a little bit of understanding about space. And we're going to go back here. Now, just to get back to the original stuff here. Excuse me. It's so dry in here. Okay, so to get back to the original here, we'll put this eye back underneath here. And so you're, like I said, you're going to find this uncomfortably big, but some people might not. This is a range, and the majority of people are going to like a certain range, and then when you get outside that, people are going to feel more uncomfortable. So there are some people that will like this. More people will think it's too big. More people are going to be more comfortable with this one than the last one. Many people are going to be comfortable with this, but they're starting to notice the space, the empty space, too much. So that's at the border of where you want to start putting stuff out here in your space to make it meaningful or to make it more interesting, because this is losing some of its command of attention, because now the space is starting to get to be a larger volume, and especially when it gets down to this size, it's starting to need something to help out that empty space. Now, even when you take away some of this, you're still noticing that there's a large volume of space, even though it's not plain. Like, let's say that one where it's plain, see? So when people say, well, what's the range? Well, I did show you the range here in sizes. And you think about this. If this was Rembrandt or one of the older masters where they have so much dark mass in the image and very little lighter mass in the image, like especially in the portrait work, you'll say, well, gee, how much space for how much portrait? Well, that is, you could actually go bigger than this. So again, it depends on a little bit on the subject matter, and it depends on where it's placed in the image, because you've seen that does make a difference. So, and it depends on what other objects or whatever that you've got in there to make it more interesting. So if you're putting nothing in there, then you may be more comfortable having it like this. And I think that's everything that we were going to cover, and some, eh? Okay, so this is my email in case you want to contact me to have a mini art analysis done on any of your images. I do private ones that are written and ones that are on video, so that's doable. And the price page is here on my Facebook business page. And of course, both of these are practical art analysis and practical art analysis. Okay, so I enjoyed this tremendously, and if you are looking for my book, you can find it on Amazon.com. It's The Art Advantage. If you're looking for, which I think is really cool, I can actually download a copy to you. You can get it through PayPal or e-transfer. We take either one of those. And you can also choose USB, and I can mail it out to you on that. So if you do like the paper copy, though, it's 265 pages, and it's an 8x10, so it is a fairly large book, and you can get it from Amazon. Okay, well, thank you, and we'll see you again next time. Hit the subscribe, and it was great. Okay, thank you. Bye for now.